Welcome to Her Cancer, Our Story, a raw and honest podcast about facing stage 4 metastatic breast cancer as a couple.
All right, happy Tuesday. Welcome to this week's episode. I'm Mike.
And I'm Kaela.
And this is Our Story. How you doing today, Kay?
I'm sore.
Yeah, sore from what?
From Pilates yesterday.
Yeah, Pilates.
Yeah.
Is this the new local place?
Yeah, the Hive. My friend Stacy invited me to a pop-up event, so we did Pilates. It was amazing. Lindsay, the instructor, is great. Great vibes all around, but definitely she kicked our butt. I'm really sore.
Yeah.
But it was good. I'm really excited for more classes there. I already signed up for yoga at 5:30 a.m. this week.
Oh, you already signed up?
Yeah, and that's not my thing. Like I don't like waking up early, especially to work out. So
well,
that says a lot.
I'm very proud of you.
Well, thank you.
And you're a member now, so you can
am.
take classes whenever you want.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, good. I'm happy for you. Mm-hmm. Well, today's kind of a special day.
Kind of.
It is May 10th, Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
It's Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Well, happy Mother's Day. You stole that from me. I was supposed to say that.
I know, but also to all the other moms listening, happy Mother's Day, ladies.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. You're all doing great.
Definitely. But yeah, so we have a special surprise for later this episode. Mm-hmm. But before we get into that, let's just give some updates.
Yeah.
So if you follow our socials, you probably saw the big one.
It is a big one.
Yeah.
It was a scary one.
It was scary.
So I think we've talked a little bit about how we decided to do the brain MRI. We both agreed that we'd prefer not to, but you got to do the big scary things, especially when you're living with a diagnosis like mine. And so I did the big scary thing, and good news is the results were clear. My brain is in good shape, and there is no metastasis. I don't even know. I got to figure out the right words to say about this. But
is it metastases?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think, but then I don't know. I got to work on that. So the good thing is that it's clear, and so the cancer is only in my bones, obviously in my breast too, but it's fine. Yeah. It was scary though.
Yeah.
I was more scared than I realized.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I took a secret video of you.
Yeah. If you follow us on social, you saw that.
So what was it like seeing those results?
Just like a big relief.
Is that all it was?
I mean, it was I'm happy. I don't think it's hit me yet.
Yeah.
Fully there. I think it just was I don't know. It just I started thinking, I think a little bit about okay, well, what would things look like if it was in my brain? And that was scary. And I mean, there's lots of people living with it there, and just because it's not here now doesn't mean at some point it couldn't go there. But I don't know. I tried really hard not to let myself think about it too much leading up to the scan, and then I was in the tube with the thing around my face, and I had to stop myself because for a second I started to spiral, and I was like, this is not good for anybody because you're also claustrophobic and this is not going to work. Yeah. So I started singing the ABCs in my head because there was country music playing, but I was like, what can I do to get my mind off of this? So yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I resorted to singing the ABCs. I'm not really sure why.
That's I used to sing that to the kids whenever they needed consoled.
Yeah. So
maybe, yeah. It's Mother's Day, you know. It's
it's very mother-like
motherly
thing to
instinct kicked in. Yeah.
But I also took 2 Ativan, and when I stood up from that table, I was like, oh boy, okay.
Yeah, we were walking into Jimmy John's afterwards because you didn't eat anything before that, which was probably not the best decision.
No, I had very little things to eat.
But we were walking in, and you're like, oh, I feel like I'm floating.
Yeah, it was a very weird feeling. So I was also signed up to go to a yoga class that at 4:30, and I'm like, I can't go to yoga where I have to balance when I can barely walk. Yeah. So thankfully I ate and I felt much better.
That's good.
But yeah, I don't know what was going through your mind.
A lot of relief, for sure. But I think you got hit with a lot more emotion. Yeah. I think it was more than relief.
Yeah, I was scared. Yeah. I don't think I realized how scared I actually was until I saw the results. Yeah. Because then it was just a rush of I don't know, I can't think of another word to describe it, but just a rush of like, whew, okay, like I can breathe again for a little bit.
Even though it was great news, did it kind of like impact you in a way like, oh, this is what I have to look forward to
Forever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just constantly going through this process.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, it was great news now, but like, what happens when the day comes when it's not great news? Not saying just with a brain MRI, but like a PET scan, because eventually somewhere down the line, hopefully not for a long time, but there will be a time where I get a scan and there's progression.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, you're hoping for the best and you're optimistic because what other choice do you have? But you also have that other side of you that's like, well, now what? Like, what if it's bad news? And where are we going to go from here? I think also knowing I have a PET scan coming up at the end of the month, and just knowing that, I mean, we're very optimistic that it'll be good. But again, like I live my life in 3-month cycles now. So I just 4 times a year I have to go through this. And it's just a lot. There's a lot that we haven't experienced yet. But I will say, like, I was thinking about it yesterday. Did I think about my breast cancer? Like Saturday, so I'm talking about Saturday. Sure, but it's happening like less and less throughout the day. Like, I'm thinking it more of in a way of like, oh, okay, like what can we do for the podcast? Or like, what can I post on social to like share more about like this experience? I'm not living in the like thinking about my current situation and like the future as much in the sad like negative way.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so some people say like you really can like function and live without it like ruling over your life, and I know like it's gradually been happening, but I think I'm even closer to that at this point.
Yeah.
So
well, that's good.
Yeah, I think as we get closer to the scan, I'm sure it'll be more in the forefront of my thoughts, but right now, like I'm in a pretty good place.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think we have all of the information we possibly could at this point. Like, there's not a stone left unturned, for, you know, lack of better words to say. So, now it's just waiting till May.
Yeah.
End of May.
End of May.
Yeah. We're in May.
Yeah. All right. Anything else going on this week? Any updates?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think that was a big one.
Yeah, it was a busy week, but it was good.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, so it's Mother's Day, and I think it's about time we get a guest on this show. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break, and we return with a guest. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, welcome back. And like I mentioned at the break, we are having our first guest today. Yeah. So Kaela, let's introduce our first guest.
All right, so this weekend is Mother's Day, and this episode is very personal. My mom is coming up on 5 years of breast cancer survivorship, and so today we get to talk about like what cancer looked like for both of us. First as mother-daughter, and now as 2 women whose lives have both been shaped by this disease in very different ways. But before we get into the serious stuff, we thought it would be fun to celebrate Mother's Day first. So we have my mom, Judy, on the show today. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Kaela. Hi, Mike.
And just so everybody knows, my mom is more emotional and teary-eyed than I am. And so I think you'll hear some of that emotion probably coming out in the episode today. But yeah, so we have wanted to have her on the show anyway, but then we felt like this was a great opportunity since she was in town visiting and it's Mother's Day weekend. So we're going to do like a fun little thing to kind of get to know her, and then we'll go into her cancer story and then a little bit about what it has looked like, unfortunately, now that I've been diagnosed. So, Mike, do you want to start with the first part, or do you want me to?
Some rapid fire icebreakers.
Sure.
Okay. So we're just going to throw out some quick questions. It's this or that kind of thing, I guess.
And I am not prepared with
questions,
so.
We're never prepared. We don't need that. All right. Coffee or tea?
Neither.
Yeah, right answer.
Just like me.
Yep. Morning person or night owl?
Oh, night owl.
Okay. Who's more stubborn? I don't know if that's between us or between you two.
I'd say between me and my mom.
Okay. All right. Who's more stubborn?
I think it's probably equal, but maybe Kaela, especially in certain situations.
Probably. What about me and Mike?
Ooh, that's tough. I would have said Mike over the years, but I'm beginning to think it's Kaela.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious.
Hey.
All right. Who's more emotional between you two?
Oh, that's easy. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
I cry at commercials.
Yeah. But I would say I'm more emotional compared to Mike.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, yeah. Who gives the best advice?
Kayla.
Oh,
Really?
see, I would say my mom.
Well,
100%.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's the way I would expect those answers to go. I don't think any one of you would take credit for giving the best
Probably
advice.
not.
Yeah. Favorite comfort food?
Comfort food is different than favorite food. So steak and baked potato is my favorite, but probably chicken casserole.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's a good one. All right. And then who takes longer to text back, you or Kayla?
Oh, Kayla.
Yeah, Kayla's back.
Days.
Kayla, real quick, how many unread messages do you have in your phone?
I think only 3 right now.
How
but
many voicemails do you have?
a lot.
Yeah.
There's so many things. And I've told you,
I'm so popular.
No, like unread Instagram messages, way more.
Oh,
I'm
What
just
do you
so
mean?
bad.
Who
I just
messaged you?
can't.
Jeez.
People message me like reels and stuff, and I don't have time to listen to it like right then because I can't turn the volume up, and then I forget to go back and it's just
Okay.
I get you're hearing from a lot of people, but as your mom, I have a certain expectation to hear something, even if it's just a like.
I know.
For my daily 9 a.m. pep talks and have a great days and things.
I know. No, I know. I need to do better.
Yeah. Well,
it's you, I know.
I know that Judy is the guest and the star for this segment, but I think now's a good time to learn a little bit more about Kayla
All
through
right.
Kayla's mom's lens.
Okay.
I like
Do you want me to
that.
ask these questions?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So what was I like as a kid? And that could be any age range.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I mean, I'm a single mom of an amazing young woman, and I feel like I probably thought she was pretty close to perfect all along, except for when she wasn't. So, lots of fun. I think we were mother and daughter first, but we were also best friends most of our life. And, yeah, just a great kid all around. Lots of challenges, though.
What were the challenges? I wasn't a bad kid.
No, you were not a bad kid. I think it was more situational.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Your typical stuff. But as a teenager, you couldn't have been a better kid. It's amazing to me that we managed to get through those years without any real trouble.
No, I would agree. I think I remember asking you at one point, like, man, I need to figure out what you did to keep me, like, in line without, like, I don't know. I wasn't, like, a rebellious kid, but I also wasn't, like, I don't know how to describe it, but I think I've asked you, like, how can I make sure that I do that for our kids? Like, keeping them on the right track, but not hating me as a mom, too. So
Honestly, I just felt like every decision I made was in your best interest, and I hoped it was the right thing.
Yeah. What's one memory of me you'll never forget?
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Yeah, that's a deep one.
You don't have to answer it.
Wow. How about take some time to think about that one?
Yeah.
All right, we can come back to it if you want.
I mean,
We will.
obviously on the track, like, but there's no one pinpoint. I mean, middle school, like, just wow, watching you develop as a runner and as a teen, preteen, and then on to high school and just watching you just take it on like storm, but never qualified to state or anything, and then showed up at Slippery Rock, couple injuries, a couple delays, and then qualifying to nationals your senior year was just absolutely incredible. I still remember watching you run at nationals and just crying and cheering, and couldn't have been prouder. And it wasn't just you being at nationals, it was the whole circle of you accomplishing the end of your senior year and student teaching and nationals and everything coming together.
Thanks, Mom. All right. Do you have something that you can think of that I did growing up that still makes you laugh today? Whether it was like when I was little, or I know it's much easier now when we have like Liam and Everett to think about because they make us laugh all the time.
Sure. Probably just your goofiness. You were much younger than all of your friends, and just challenging, but just sitting back and watching you being so much younger than all your friends at soccer practice every week, and just Mr. Spence coming up to me and saying, she's going to be fine. I'll take care of disciplining Kaela. You take care of disciplining everybody else. And it was just that whole, I wasn't the only one that knew you were going to be fine. Everybody did.
Yeah.
You had such a great support system.
Absolutely.
But I do have something else memory-wise that I wanted to touch on. So our Friday night date nights.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we did not have a lot of money when you were growing up. And so we would go to Borders because we both love to read. Yep. And that would be our date night. We would spend an hour or two just hanging around Borders, looking at books. Sometimes we'd have a chance to go to a movie. But yeah, Friday night date night.
Oh, yeah.
Or our nights meeting up with Grandma and Papa at Arturo's local bar, pizza place. It was kind of an open invite. Whoever was in town and available on Friday nights, you met Grandma and Papa at Arturo's, and those were good nights.
Yeah, I would agree. Okay, what, if you can think of one, what's a parenting moment that you think you handled terribly, but can laugh at now, if you can think of one? I can think of probably a lot now for me.
Well, we're in it.
We're in it.
Yeah.
Or in general, is there something now, like, with hindsight and with, like, watching us parent, that you're like, oh, I remember doing this, like, and I probably would have handled it differently.
I really would have liked to have gotten these questions ahead of time.
Yeah, sorry, we're putting you on the spot.
We're all about to flying off the seat of our pants, the cuff, flying off the cuff, whatever.
Yeah.
It's something about clothes.
Flying off the seat of our pants.
Probably a lot of things having to do with, just, time spent with Grandma and Papa, and just maybe how I handled things. They were so helpful, and I always say that kids raised by a village are the best kids, and honestly, that's why you turned out so well, because we had a huge village.
Yeah, we did.
But sometimes I maybe didn't appreciate that so much in the thick of it.
Yeah.
And then instances with your dad. I think I did the best I could, but maybe I could have handled things differently. And but I don't think you're any worse to wear.
No,
because of it. So
yeah. Okay. What is something that I inherited from you that you're proud of?
Probably your giving nature, and just wanting to give back and support those that have less than you in whatever way. Whatever's going on, whether it's compassion or financial, or right now what you're doing with your her cancer, our story, excuse me. I just love that you are trying to find a way to educate and give back to the community that you're a part of now, unfortunately.
And then flipping that around, what's something that you wish I didn't inherit from you?
Oh my goodness, there's so much. I think you got the best of a lot of people that participated in your growth, but you can be impatient, you can be stubborn, you can argue till you're blue in the face sometimes. Those are just a couple of the things that I don't like about myself that I know are challenging for you as well. But there's probably smaller things, but off the top of my head, I can't think of them.
Okay. All right. I think that's wraps up those ones.
Yeah. All right.
Good job, Mom.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Yeah.
Just speak
Don't
up.
put so much pressure on you.
Okay.
All right, Kaela, you want to keep going?
Sure. Okay. So obviously, breast cancer has become part of both of our lives, and it's also changed our relationship in ways that we didn't expect. Because I watched you go through it first, and before that, unfortunately, we watched Auntie Dawn go through it. And then cancer in general has hit our family, which we've talked about in previous episodes. But I want you to have an opportunity to share a little bit about your story. So can you kind of take us back to the beginning of just general information of how you found out, or what it started, prompted you to go to the doctor, and kind of take us to that day or those moments of time.
Sure. It was shortly after COVID, and I think like many people, we missed, just general doctor's appointments through COVID, maybe tests that we should have been doing. I was already getting annual mammograms prior to that, but did not during COVID. And one night I was laying in bed and I just felt something that just didn't feel right and didn't do anything about it right away. Kind of, I think it was like right around the holidays, and I felt like, I don't have time for this.
Mm-hmm.
And, a couple months went by and I thought, no, this is something serious. I'm really frightened that this might be pretty bad and I have to stop putting it off. One of the things I tend to do is always look for the positive, but yet I'm a procrastinator when it comes to taking care of things that are scary or hard or challenging, when it's personal. So finally went to the doctor and was sent for a mammogram and an ultrasound and the other type of mammogram.
Oh, the three, like the diagnostic one.
Yeah, diagnostic. Thank you. And sure enough, it was not good news.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was in my left breast and my lymph nodes under my arm.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And I think we've touched on before, you had hormone positive, HER2 negative, which is like what I have.
Mm-hmm.
And yours originally was going to be stage 3,
Yes.
but then they downgraded it to stage 2.
Yeah, something
like 2A or 2B. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, something with the combination of what my diagnosis was improved that stage. So that was a relief.
Mm-hmm.
But, in the back of your mind, you're just like, oh, they still told me to stage 3 at one point.
Yeah.
And I also knew, without knowing anything really, except for my experience with my sister, you just hear those stages and you just think, your mind just goes down that black tunnel.
Yeah.
At any point in the process before you got your official diagnosis, like, did you have a feeling one way or the other?
I knew it was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had a feeling. I don't know if it's history, family history, or me. I just tend to go down that dark hole automatically. I remember taking my twin sister, Auntie Beth, with me to the surgeon where I got the official word. And, she was the only one who knew. And then obviously I told Grandma. And I didn't want to tell you, obviously, because we're 5 hours away and you were pregnant with Everett.
No, not that year.
No, you weren't
It was
yet.
the next year.
Oh, when I was going through treatment, you were pregnant. Yeah, you weren't pregnant yet. But, Liam was 3.5, 4 years old. And all I kept thinking was, I want to watch my grandkids grow up.
And I think that kind of goes back to a question I was going to ask, like, what fears hit you first? And I think, obviously, we've talked about my journey with this, and I've had the very similar fears. Like, family first has always been something that's really important to you, and I think I've inherited that from you as well. Like, family is the most important thing, and sometimes with that, though, we, like, try to overprotect in a way. So I know you tried to protect all of us emotionally, but what led you to finally telling me what was going on?
I knew I wanted to tell you sooner rather than later. And I think it was I was just waiting to be able to tell you in person instead of, on the phone.
But that didn't end up working out.
No. To be honest with you, I think back, I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know how the decision came to be that.
Yeah.
I told you, I think I called Mike first,
You
actually.
did.
Mike
You
knew.
did.
And I said, I just need you to be there for her. I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize.
And, I know I can go to Mike for anything.
Yeah.
And I know he's always here for you and Liam and now Everett. So I knew he would do whatever you needed.
Absolutely. And then you called me and told me, and then I think, was it the next day or a couple of days later, I was on the phone with you for your appointment where you really got the official staging and everything. I think you already knew. We knew it was breast cancer. We just didn't know all of like the biopsy information at that point.
I think you're right. And I called you from the doctor's office and put him on speaker, I think.
Yeah. So that was when you kind of got the treatment plan, which looked like you had chemo first.
Yes, chemo and then surgery and then radiation. So 6 chemo treatments every 3 weeks. I had one postponed due to blood work, incapability of treatment, and then surgery, and then 30 radiation treatments.
Yeah, so thinking about treatment, what was the hardest part physically that you had to go through?
Oh, chemo by far.
Yeah, it hit you hard.
It hit me.
I mean, not that it hits everybody hard, but...
I remember thinking, I don't remember Auntie Dawn being this sick. And I remember thinking, I look back and I attended family events such as, baby showers and bridal showers. And I have no recollection of any of those events except for the pictures. If I didn't have pictures, family pictures from different things that happened, I would not remember that part of my life. I think after the 3rd treatment, I started to go downhill really quick.
Yeah.
Lots of weight loss. Just, I think, and the word escapes me. What's the word when you can't sleep at night?
Oh, insomnia.
The insomnia was terrifying. I was completely exhausted, but could not sleep. And the hallucinations and things that were going on in the middle of the night for 3 and 4 hours straight, I would just be walking around in the living room, family room, just like aimlessly, because I couldn't get comfortable either.
Yeah.
I was very fortunate. I never had the vomiting that many people have. I think I had that 1 week, but I was just in a lot of pain every day.
Yeah, the bone pain.
The bone pain and stomach pain.
Yeah.
We went to Norris Lake during treatment, right? What stage of treatment were you in there? Do you
I
remember?
was still in chemo. We had that vacation planned for August.
Yeah.
And I actually asked my oncologist, I said, because the way my schedule was going to fall, it wasn't going to work. And I said to my oncologist, is delaying the start of treatment a week going to change the outcome? Because in my opinion, having that to look forward to in that week with my family was more important than following a specific schedule. And I don't know if anybody's ever asked him that question because he seemed very shocked. But right away, his response was, no, you're right. Having something to look forward to is absolutely more important than a schedule. So I was very sick though. I remember we broke up the car ride. Grandma and I drove with Auntie Beth and Uncle Henry and Linda and Ryan. And we broke the drive up into 2 days instead of just driving straight through. And I'm sure that was for my benefit.
Yeah.
It was never discussed. I'm sure it was discussed by everybody else. But everybody was just so thoughtful and so caring and just... But yeah, I think back to that vacation, as fabulous as it was, I was really sick.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you did an amazing job kind of masking some of that. We all knew that you felt awful, but I think you just tried to put on a happy face and, despite how you were feeling during that time. But still there were times I was like, yeah, she is very... not fragile, that's not the right word, but just not yourself.
Frail.
You were. Yeah. And you look back at pictures and you see it. It's amazing the difference now versus back then.
Yeah, were you halfway through chemo there? Or
yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember how.
It was about halfway.
Okay.
Maybe just 1 week, one session past half. And I just remember thinking, I don't want Liam to look back on that vacation and remember me that way.
Mm-hmm. No.
I almost forgot about that side of it.
Yeah.
I remember you being there, and I don't remember anything. So that's kind of why I asked, because I forgot that you were actively going through chemo during that vacation.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's important, for anybody listening who's going through it, you can advocate for yourself if you have, yes, treatment and everything is important. However, you still have to have things to look forward to, and you're still a person, you're still a human that gets to do enjoyable things despite a scary, horrible thing that you're going through. So I think it's really good to hear from you and sharing that you asked. It's better to ask and find out that, hey, no, it really isn't something that we can change, but maybe it is something that you can adjust. So kudos to you advocating for yourself in that way.
Never really thought about it that way. I look at you
Yeah.
as such an advocate for yourself, and you and Mike having those conversations with your medical team. But yeah, good
You did
point.
that there. What helped you get through some of those hard times the most? Can you think back to either something that you did or people that helped you get through it, or anything like that?
I think I told you when you first got your diagnosis, the amount of people that just will show up for you will astound you.
Yeah.
Family obviously loves you, cares for you, but the extended family and, cousins and second cousins. And I mean, we have a very tight-knit family, going beyond to our third cousins. We're all very close, and, they're just there. But your coworkers and your friends,
Yeah.
my girlfriend Jill, specifically, she sent me a card every week.
Yeah.
Clockwork. And some days I was feeling so sick, I might not have opened it for 2 or 3 days. But when I did, it just, cheered me up every time. I don't know if I ever thanked everybody enough for all that they did. Just being there, the flowers, my women's club at work. I'm very involved with the Sherwin-Williams Women's Club. And I was on the board that year, and I stepped down, and, they reminded me multiple times that year that they still were there for me and that they still cared, what I was going through outside of work. My coworkers and my best friends, my dear, dear, dear college roommates. And I went to an all-girls private high school.
Yeah.
And there's a group of girls that my twin sister and I, Beth and I, have become very good friends with, probably about 2 weeks before COVID. And when I got sick, they really showed up.
Yeah.
And the thing, my hairstylist.
Oh yeah, the little party.
So I think Beth and Kaela and family and friends planned. I did lose my hair, which I wasn't terribly worried about that.
No, you didn't seem to care.
No, I was like, you know what? I just have to, and it might help because knowing Dawn had lost hers, and everybody's like, well, you can get a wig. I'm like, I don't even want to go that route. I just, it was kind of a badge of courage in a way of mine. But a party was planned, a head shaving party was planned. So I had cut my hair to a cute little bob as it started to fall out, and then we shaved it that night, and all my female friends showed up.
Yeah.
Another shout out. There's so many people I could shout out specifically, but like my best friend at work, Bruna, she would bring her little girls out to visit me when I was, away from work for months, and just, I can't mention everybody specifically, but thank you, everybody. And, I'm seeing it with you, Kaela, your friends, your family, your coworkers.
Yeah. Okay. Let's shift a little bit to motherhood during cancer. So, how did being a mom affect the way that you handled everything? And I know it's different being an adult, like I'm an adult versus having little kids, but I just want your perspective there.
Yeah, honestly, I just wanting to reassure you that I was okay. Obviously, the distance, made it, I don't know, easier in some ways to protect you and Liam from the ugly and such, but just wanting to be here for your future and the boys' future and Mike. That was my end goal. That was my fight for survival, honestly.
Yeah.
Not really, obviously, Beth and I are best friends, and she's, my sister, and she and Henry just did so much for me while I was sick. But you guys were my end goal. It was, I have to be here. And obviously, I have to be here.
Yeah. I know.
Because you need me now.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I remember you saying, like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, originally when you were first diagnosed. And I remember that's something that I've said too. And obviously our stories look a little bit different with that. But I think that goes back to, like, both of us just focusing on being here for each other and our family and the kids.
I think it's a good thing that you're both stubborn in that case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, sorry,
I
Cancer.
need you to be very stubborn.
Yeah. You don't have a chance against us.
Pick the wrong girl.
Yep. So I kind of want to shift to survivorship a little bit. People talk a lot about treatment, right? And when you're in the thick of it, you get support in a lot of different ways. Obviously, my situation is very different. So I want to hear from you. You don't really hear a lot about what happens after you're done with like that active treatment, right? And you had a couple of tough years when you were done with radiation because you were on Verzenio, and that medication hit you hard in a lot of ways. So can you just talk to us a little bit about what that transition looked like? Again, you're almost 5 years post-diagnosis, and just how you felt maybe in those first couple of years after, and then where you're at right now.
Very good point about the Verzenio. So it was relatively new, and my oncologist was adamant about getting me on it. The cancer that I has a strong percentage of returning, and so the Verzenio was going to give me that fighting chance of keeping it at bay. But to your point, Kaela, I was very sick on it. We did adjust the dosages multiple times. Of course, they start you at the highest and work your way down to where you can tolerate it. So I was on that for 2 straight years. The other facet of my diagnosis and treatment is it was on my left breast. So radiation affects my heart. The radiologists and the staff are fabulous. They do everything they can to avoid direct contact with the radiation in your heart, but there's only so much they can do. So I have high blood pressure and I have blockage now in arteries because of radiation that I did not have prior to treatment. So I do have a radiation oncologist. Oncology cardiologist.
There we go.
That I see. Now I'm due like twice a year.
Okay.
Initially I was seeing them every quarter. They're trying to get the medicine figured out, the blood pressure meds, in addition to everything else I was on. I would say the typical side effects that were long lasting, and still experiencing this to this day, are definitely the joint pain. I think because I'm older now, I'm almost 60. Gosh, I shudder to think about that.
A couple more months.
I think because I'm aging, so I never had, I had some arthritis in my hands due to just jobs I've had over the years, waitressing when Kaela was little, and then professional career, and that I do a lot of computer work. But the joint pain definitely is you stops you in your tracks sometimes. And I think that combined with my age, maybe the arthritis that a senior would normally start experiencing is setting in.
Yeah.
So that's been hard. One of the things I do want to touch on, because menopause in general for women is a challenge. Like Kaela, I was medically put into menopause during treatment because I had not entered menopause yet, even though I was...
You were 54, right?
Yeah. Both of my sisters were already in menopause, but I was not. And I actually had my last cycle after my first chemo treatment. And then they put me into menopause medically. The one thing about that is I did not experience menopause symptoms until they finally felt I was in menopause naturally, and they took me off the treatment to put me in menopause. And then I started feeling the hot flashes, gained 8 pounds in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Eventually the total gain was 25 pounds. The night sweats, just all the typical issues with that. I changed diet. I changed everything. One, I had already started to change diet just for health, post-cancer treatments. But then I was just trying to lose weight and couldn't lose a single pound to save my life.
Well, you look great now.
I've just lost about 9 pounds in the last...
You're working hard.
3 months.
Yay.
So it took like
took
you
a long
said,
time.
yeah. I carried a lot of weight. extra weight. And I don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen, whoever's listening, I lost a lot of weight when I was sick. I think I was down to 127 pounds.
Yeah.
At my smallest. And so I did have to gain weight. But the weight I'm talking about was after I gained a couple healthy pounds.
You were back to more like a healthy normal at that point. Yeah.
Yes. I think I was from 127. I think I was like low 130. And then ballooned up to almost 160 when they took me off the medically induced shots.
Yeah.
So anyway, just that's really important to just be, nobody prepares you for those things.
Yeah.
One of the other things I just want to touch on, and I'm sorry if I'm like talking a lot and longer than we wanted to, but I had surgery after chemo, and nobody tells you about the discomfort of the spacer that they insert. So basically I was having a mastectomy on my left side with, in the future, reconstruction. And so what they do is they put a spacer in to basically save space in your chest wall for that future surgery. And it's painful, it's uncomfortable, and nobody talks about that. Everybody talks about chemo and how awful that is, and absolutely. But there's so many things that come after chemo that nobody shares. And I think as a female that's been through it, I've told other ladies that these are the things to think about and the questions to ask.
Awesome. No, thank you for sharing that. Did and has fear of reoccurrence happened for you, and has it changed since my diagnosis now?
Yes. I mean, the fear of reoccurrence is real. You know, people, I think for a long time I was in denial, which that's my MO. But you know, it just, mine wasn't a daily thing, but it just creeps in. The next scan, the next mammogram, the next doctor's appointment, you feel something weird. You know, you just can't help but jump to the worst possible scenario. And then, of course, when you reached out, and well, actually, I came here and you told me, and one, I couldn't have been more shocked. Two, I couldn't have been more terrified. And three, I couldn't have been more devastated.
I know.
But yeah, it just reminds me that it happens, and it can happen to anybody, any age, any day. And no, ladies, I know Kaela has told you this, and Mike is a proponent of this. Know your medical history, know your family history, get the tests. If you suspect anything, I don't care how old you are, go to your doctor, insist, and advocate for yourself. Get the tests.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm very behind on a colonoscopy, so
there you
speaking
go,
here right now, I need to get that done in the next
Hey, I'm
couple
glad you're
months.
putting it out there, because all your friends who listen are going to hear that and push you to do it. Okay, what does approaching the 5-year mark mean emotionally to you?
It's kind of funny that it coincides with turning 60.
Yeah.
So, which I don't really dwell on. I guess I'm feeling much better this past, I'd say, 6 to 9 months. I finally feel like almost a real person again, if that makes sense. What's amazing to me is I'm still exhausted.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that will ever change. That's real. So ladies, if you're feeling exhausted all the time, just know that it's okay, and self-care. I don't do a lot of self-care. Lots going on in my life, but it's good. But do it for yourself. Sorry, I kind of lost track of the question and the answer.
No,
but
you're good. Just approaching the 5-year mark. Like,
yeah.
I think I see aging as a privilege now. I've never cared about like getting older. Like turning 30 didn't like scare me.
Yeah.
But there, you know, of course you hear a lot about like looking older and fine lines and wrinkles. And of course, like, are there things like if I can start doing like different face treatments and whatever, okay, great. But especially with my diagnosis now, like I see aging as a privilege, and every birthday I get is a celebration. And so the fear of aging, any fear that I maybe did have originally, it's like, well, no, like I'm lucky and privileged to be able to do that. So I think for you, like turning 60, like that's exciting to me as your daughter. Like we get to celebrate that together. Especially when you've gone through like a tough thing, like a breast cancer diagnosis. So, I think that's important for people to understand too, whether you have a diagnosis like this or you're just living your life. It's kind of a reminder that, yeah, getting older can be scary, but at the same time, it's like, let's celebrate the years that we do get.
And that goes back to, I think, when Kaela and Mike and I were together, when I first found out, when they first shared Kayla's diagnosis, one of the first things I said is, we need to live life. We need to find the joy, do the things. Mm-hmm. I was never one to spend the money on concerts and trips and stuff, but I want you guys to do those things. And, when I can do it with you, great, but I want you guys to make those memories and have that joy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, thanks, Mom.
Sure.
So I think, I've really enjoyed this time talking and everything, but I think it's turning into a lot longer because I don't want to speed up because we're trying to like stop at a certain time. So I was thinking while we're talking that maybe we should break this into like a 2-part thing, because our next part would be kind of talking about like a role reversal of when now that I'm diagnosed, how has that impacted you as a mom, and then like kind of wrapping that whole thing up.
Yeah.
So I think we would like to split this into a 2-part. So then the next time you're here or the next time we go to Cleveland, maybe we record again. And I think then maybe too, like we can have some other additional follow-up questions about your journey. But I don't want to, like, this is special to me that we're recording. So I don't want to feel anything to feel rushed or, yeah.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I know we have a lot of really good stuff to cover still, and no point in rushing it. So,
and I tend to ramble, so I apologize.
I don't think that we didn't know exactly what it would be like going into this. So I think we prepared a lot of different things just in case we went through it fast. And then I was like, I don't want to feel rushed, but so I think it's good that we pause here.
Absolutely.
And we do a part
and it's
2.
Mother's Day too.
Yeah.
You guys need to enjoy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
I just want to interrupt. To anybody out there that is listening to Kaela and Mike, just know that, one, I'm terribly proud of them. But 2, everything you hear, everything you are assuming about them, they're so genuine, and this really is something new to them, and they're coming across, I keep hearing from people, friends, coworkers, everybody who's listening, how great they're doing, and I just want to give them that shout out that they are doing fabulous. So I think Mike usually says it, if you, are enjoying this, like it, listen to it, share it. I don't know if that's the right verbiage,
It's
but
perfect.
I just want to remind them just how much they mean to me, how much I love being Kaela's mom and Mike's mother-in-law. And, I feel very blessed to be a part of this little family.
Yay. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks for having me.
You're the
Thanks
best
for coming
cheerleader.
Yeah, I guess that's probably one of the things I remember the most about you growing up, being your biggest fan, your loudest cheerleader.
Always. You always were. Loudest. All my friends know that for sure. Loudest in the track the track stadium. So.
All right. Well, Judy, thanks again for coming on, and I'm looking forward to part 2.
Yes.
Kayla, happy Mother's Day.
Happy
Judy,
Mother's
happy
Day,
Mother's
Mom.
Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
And with that,
all right.
Love you.
Love you both.
love you.